Hi everyone, this is week 3 of Capstone Design course and I wanted to give you some ideas about how to complete today's assignment. First thing you want to do is to go to the Submit Assignment section in your Blackboard and then go to the Project Design Proposal, which is worth 10% of your grade. And so here's some ideas about how to complete this. And I know, having talked with all of you, you're in different stages of thinking through your ideas, and so it's perfectly appropriate at this point where your ideas may not be completely formulated, but let's see some idea of what you're thinking. So the first thing I might put in this section is a proposed title. What would you call your project? And just give a paragraph or some bullet points on the issue or the problem that you would like to tackle in your research project. And many of you have some really good ideas, whether it's improving surgical training or developing a standardized patient program to deal with difficult conversations. So you've identified a problem in your workplace or in simulation-based education that you would like to investigate or improve, perhaps. The next stage is write a paragraph or some bullet points about your current thinking about how you would propose to deal with this issue or problem. And again, your current state of thinking about the project. Now, in a couple weeks, we'll be doing the literature review, and the literature review will probably give you maybe some different ideas about how to deal with this issue or problem that you've identified and how you propose to deal with it. So we want to see some of your current thinking at this moment. So isn't going to require paragraphs. It's better that you're succinct and keep it down to one page. And let's see what your current thinking is as a result, perhaps, of our conversations and things that you've thought about afterwards. The other thing to think about is, and this will be part of your final completed project, but you might want to start thinking about the finer technique to help you to think through some of these issues in coming up with a reliable, or rather a reasonable project. First, and we've discussed some of these issues in our phone calls. Is it feasible? In other words, do you have subjects that you can either investigate or teach or get some information about? Do you have subjects at all? Is it manageable? That, in other words, you're going to have to finish this within a semester. So is the project itself manageable? Do you have the technical expertise to actually do the project yourself, or will you need help? And you might want to think through those issues. And I think what's really important too is, do you have institutional support? Do they support this project, or do you have to sell them the project first, and then that could take up some time? So you want to start thinking about some of these issues that will go into coming up with your capstone project. It's got to be interesting to you primarily, or else there's probably no point in doing this. You need the necessary internal motivation to complete this project. Is the project novel? Will you come up with new findings, a new way of investigating the issue or the problem that you're working on? Will it confirm or refute findings that are out there in the literature? Or will you be adding a needed program? You may find, for example, that the program that you're thinking about or the research that you're proposing doesn't have a lot of literature on this. So you might be identifying a new area of research or simulation-based education. Is it ethical? And what this comes down to, since you're not going to be doing really serious human subjects research, the subjects, however, can't be identified or harmed in any way through, I guess, revelation of their identity. And so you have to work through this through your own institutional IRB. And I'm presuming that all of your studies will be exempt, but you still have to make sure that you go through the IRB process. And I would start talking to folks at your institution right now about this, I think, as we've already discussed. And finally, is it relevant? Is it relevant to simulation-based education? to developing health policy or future research, give some thought to whether it's relevant or not. And again, you won't have to do this finer technique for this project that's due today, but this will be your final justification that will go in your final capstone proposal project. Now, the other thing that's due today is your completed Blackboard journal entry, and for this, I would refer to the January 10th announcement that where I gave you some guidelines regarding how I'm going to grade that. So, but basically, I know that I've talked with some of you, and it's pretty understandable at this point if you're overwhelmed. You may be taking a couple other courses in addition to this one. You have a full workload. You may be waking up in the middle of the night wondering, what the heck am I doing? How am I going to get this accomplished? Or you also may be excited by what you're doing, and so the journal is really meant to capture some of your ideas and thoughts and reflections on this project. You may be ready to dump your project and try something else, but put all that down. It shouldn't just simply be a report on, this is the date I met with my mentor, this is what we discussed. That's important to put in the journal, but also a real reflection on the issues. So it's more or less a diary. And it's interesting, I was talking to one of you, I won't name who it is, the other night, and he was saying that the difference between let's say medical education and this approach, which is much more reflective. In medical education, you're not always asked to reflect upon the knowledge that you're gaining and do a lot of writing. And so the masters that we're offering does really, I think, pull in some different skills that we hope to develop. And I think this journal reflection will also help you in your final writing. So with that, I know that I'm on my way to talking through most of you for our first meeting. And if you have any questions, please contact me and we'll set up a separate call or email. Sometimes it's difficult to get a hold of me if I'm in meetings. My cell phone might go to voicemail, but I'll be happy to try to get back with you ASAP. And next week will be IMSH, and I look forward to seeing you then, those of you that will be there. So let's keep talking and look forward to reading your proposals. Okay, thanks. Take care. Have a good day.